yeah. Is it Thursday already? Wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. We got to talk some Bad Batch today because the voice actress for Omega might have just spoiled something pretty crazy that could happen at the end of this season. Possibly Omega dying? All right, we're going to talk about all this today. Also, the Empire magazine thing came out, but did it really? Because they're apparently stuck in the past. We'll talk about all this. We got a ton of stuff to get to today because the Bad Batch is 6 days away. What's up, guys? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. So, let's start off with the voice actress for Omega. Might have just told us a lot more than we ever thought she could. What's up, chat? How we doing today on this fine Thursday afternoon? How's everybody doing? Let me open up the chat so I can see what you guys are talking about. Oh, well, the chat opened up over here. That's not where I wanted it. Okay, it's right here. Perfect. Fearless, what's up? Maggie, how we doing? Mace, Cameron, how we doing? Skywalker Academy, Austin Snow, Dustin, what's up? Okay. This is pretty crazy. We're going to watch this interview. This is coming from Star Wars Explained, I believe. They did an exclusive interview with the voice actress for Omega. And although the majority of the interview doesn't really have much spoilers or anything, but she kind of got confused when she was talking and didn't really know what we'd seen or hadn't seen yet. So what she kind of gets into, she talks about Asajj Ventress. We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. We're going to react to it together. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Dustin Kennedy's first in today says, I think Omega will be the only one who survives. That's what I was led to believe, Dustin. I was right along the side with you right there. But now I kind of seem to be thinking differently. I think that there might be something else going on here. Okay? So let's smash a freaking like on the stream. What are we waiting for? We got over 10 people here and only 4 likes. What's going on? Can we get some likes on the stream? And then let's dive into this. Let's dive into it right away. This interview is quite crazy, and I want to get into it. Actually, before we dive into this, I'm contradicting myself already. The Empire magazine thing dropped today. The 25th anniversary of the Prequel Trilogy, the Empire magazine exclusive, all these interviews with Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Natalie Portman, Liam Neeson, Ian McDermott, all this stuff. That released today. But what I didn't realize was Empire magazine is stuck 1,000 years in the past, and this is only coming out right now. Only coming out right now on the newsstand in physical copy of a magazine in London. So if you're in London and you picked up a magazine, hit me up because that's the only place that this exists right now. I think over the next couple of weeks, we will get, of course, all these interviews online. But right now, Empire magazine is existing purely 1,000 years ago on written texts. They haven't heard of this thing called the internet, I guess, but that's okay. We'll wait. We'll patiently wait for all these crazy interviews from the cast and crew from the Prequel Trilogy. But right now, it only exists if you're in the UK on a newsstand. So I know we got some UK people in the chat here, but go to your local newsstand, if those even exist, and find an Empire magazine, and you know, just send me some pictures. Just help me out. Help me out. You know? So that's the whole news on the side of the Empire magazine stuff. So we can't really get to any of that today because there's nothing to get to other than the sort of early access stuff that they gave out last week, which we kind of already talked about with the Ian McDermott stuff and the Samuel L. Jackson stuff and the Hayden Christensen stuff, which we already went over. So I was really looking forward to that. 25 years of the Prequel Trilogy, getting all these cool exclusive interviews. We were going to talk about it today. Little did I know that it was only going to be on a newsstand in the UK. So that's what's going on there. But we can still talk about the Bad Batch because it is 6 days away. And we got this awesome interview with the voice actress for Omega. Yeah. Okay. Austin Snow says, I can't believe that Vader will be in the 3rd season. Well, we don't know that for sure. But I'd love to see Vader. That is definitely true. Tony, what's up? Fearless says, Vader in season 3? Hell yeah. I'd love to see it. They're going to make us think that Omega dies, you think? I don't know. We're going to watch this interview, and then we're going to kind of... Actually, let's put up a poll first, and then we'll come back to the poll and see if anybody changed their answer. Do you think Omega will die in The Bad Batch Season 3? Yes or no? You tell me. Is Omega going to die in this 3rd season? What do we think? What do we think? Mace Cameron says, in the interview, she mentions that Omega and Ventress do some stuff. That will be interesting. Yeah, we're going to watch that for sure. Ian says, the comment that Omega meeting Ventress made a big impression on Omega was really interesting. Yeah, we're going to watch this interview, and we'll watch the back half of it, I should say, because they do talk about Omega and Ventress meeting, which is a little confusing because we know where Omega is right now on Mount Tantus, imprisoned by the Empire, and we don't really know where Ventress is right now, so it'll be interesting. Do I think that Vader will kill Hemlock? No. Hemlock is the scientist working on Mount Tantus for the Empire, so I seriously doubt that he would kill him. Seems unnatural. Dustin says, could the clone assassin trooper that we saw in the trailer, could it be Dogma? It could really be anybody. I think the most likely scenario here is Tech. A lot of fans want it to be Tech. I'm not really on the same level as those people. I would love Tech to remain dead to make that 2nd season more meaningful, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Mace Cameron says, I'm in the UK. I will try to look everywhere for you and send some pictures. Mace, I appreciate that a whole lot. That'd be crazy. Yeah. Ian says, I'd do it for you, but I haven't worked out how to use my new scanner yet. That's hilarious. Fearless says, I think not, but maybe she will sacrifice, talking about Omega dying, I think not. I think maybe she will sacrifice herself in some other form for the rest of the clones, for the ones that survive. So you think Omega could sacrifice herself to keep everybody else alive? That could be possible. Oh, and she saves Crosshair, of course. I think that in the beginning of the first trailer, the one jumping off the tank into the ship is Ventress. Should we pull up the trailer? Let's pull up the trailer. Let's pull up the trailer. Why not? What the hell? Bad Batch trailer. Boom. The person... Whoa, that's very loud. The person jumping off the ship, you say? Is it Saj Ventress? What ship? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I think in the beginning of the first trailer, the one jumping off the tank onto the ship is Ventress. Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Hold on! We've got troopers up top. We're running out of road!
Not exactly a stealth exit, boys.
Let's move!
Hang on.
Let's move!
Can you guys see this up here? What is this? I don't think it's a Saj Ventress, but this is interesting. I believe this is Wrecker. He's the last one to jump onto the ship, but what is he holding? I don't know what this is, but when I press play and we go to the next scene, he's not holding anything. What is he holding there? What is this? No. It looks like somebody. Looks like a person. Oh, I can't pause it at that spot. No, I'm so bad at this. No, go back. We take this frame by frame. No. It really doesn't want me to pause it right here. I think we're on to something. That's as good as it's gonna get, I think. What is that? Does anybody have any idea what that could be? Because in this next frame, which I'll show you right here, because this is Wrecker jumping onto the ship. And then we're about to see Wrecker jump onto the ship. He's not holding anything. He's not holding anything. So whatever he was holding in that last clip from this same exact scene is being hidden from us. A little bit of trailer hiding stuff. He's clearly holding something right there. That's obvious. It's orange or reddish or whatever that color is. And clearly, he's not holding anything there that's orange or reddish or there's nothing orange or reddish in this entire scene. So that's pretty interesting, but I don't see a Saj Ventress here, so I don't really know what you were talking about, Mace, but maybe, yeah. Ben says, Wrecker threw somebody onto the ship before jumping himself. But again, there's nothing on this runway unless they just threw it back there really fast. But I don't know if they had enough time to do that. But who is he throwing? Like who could this be? Who could it be? It doesn't really look like a person, but it does. It looks like it has 4 legs of some sort. I don't know. That's interesting. That's a crazy catch. That's a crazy catch. Maybe not Ventress, but I knew I saw something. There you go, Mace. You saw something, that's for sure. Trailer magic. These damn Night Sisters. Yeah, it definitely is some trailer magic right there. Star Wars for Life, what's up? Catherine, what's up? Ben, how we doing? That is strange. I really don't know what that is. Because I can't remember from the rest of the trailer seeing anything of this color and size. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, but let's get to this. By the way, 81% of you don't think Omega's going to die in this 3rd season, which would make it a pretty big surprise and a pretty good twist, if I do say so myself. Yeah. Star Wars for Life says, I saw a disturbing level of no Marauder. You mean like a lack of Marauder in the trailer? Yeah, could be. Ben says, it's a person slumped over Wrecker's shoulder. They are unconscious. But again, Ben, like, why? That's a transport for a prisoner? Well, then who are they breaking out? That's kind of the question I'm getting at here. What's going on? Who is that? Who are we breaking out? Because it didn't look like Omega. I mean, maybe Crosshair, but I doubt it. I don't know. That could be interesting. And again, like all Star Wars trailers, the majority of scenes in this trailer are probably going to be in the first couple episodes. Yeah. Yeah. The Marauder's not in the trailer much. No, it's not. You're not wrong. Maybe we could get some like the Razor Crest that just gets blown up in this 3rd season. That would kind of suck. That would suck. All right, let's get to this interview with the voice actress for Omega. Let's do this. So this is coming from Star Wars Explained. Star Wars Explained, if you're watching, and I know that you are, please don't copy strike us for this one. We're just going to skip to the back half of this interview, and it does say it's spoilers, so take that with a grain of salt if you don't want any spoilers coming into this Bad Batch 3rd season. I really don't know why you're here in the first place, because all we're talking about is predictions and what we think could happen in this 3rd season and all that stuff, so I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see. Zap says, didn't they use a Juggernaut as a prison transport in Rogue One? Yeah, I think so. To transport Jyn Erso, correct? Ben says, any zoom enhanced types in the chat that could help us out? Yeah, Ben, come on, get on that. All right, so this is Michelle Ang, who voices Omega, and Star Wars Explained having this interview. So let's get to this. Meaning the tank. Yeah, the tank that they're driving. I think it was. I think it's the same one that Jyn Erso's in. Okay. There's not much to look at here. It's just this. Like, they don't show their faces or anything. So I'll leave this up here. But
popping in here real quick to say we're now at the spoiler part of the interview, so this is your warning.
Hey, this is Sarah and Richard from Skywalking Through Neverland.
It is. Hey there. It's so much fun watching scenes between Omega and Batcher. You get to record scenes with D. Bradley Baker as he's performing Batcher, and how much fun is that?
I mean, this is wild and obviously well known at this point. D is just such a vocal magician, and
let's give a little backstory here. D. Bradley Baker is the voice of every clone in the Clone Wars. He's the voice of Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, all of them. He does different variations of clone voices to make all of the Bad Batch, but is all the same guy, D. Bradley Baker. So that's who they're talking about here.
He absolutely leapt at the chance to play Batcher. And, you know, with Dee, there's never any, I would be reading the script and there are moments where it calls for Batcher to be expressive. And it would just be this like long sort of diatribe of moment. And I'd be like, is that, nope, let's go. Okay. It's Dee just brings so much color to it, which was really essential, being that you're right, Omega has this deep connection to a non-speaking character. But yeah, watching Dee utilize that amazing skill of his is never ever gonna bore me. It's just incredible.
One of my favorite
nerd.
Omega character traits is how she will mimic the mannerisms
So this is when it gets into the Asajj Ventress bit.
of the people that she looks up to, like Hunter or Fee. If you could pick any Star Wars character for her to hang out with and mimic, who would you like to see?
Any Star Wars character? Well, so tricky. I don't know. All I can say is I don't know if you guys have seen up to this part, but like Asajj Ventress was incredibly interesting to Omega. Like, you know, she's come across formidable female figures, but I think that one in particular really sort of took Omega. She had to take a step back, and sort of there was this sort of fear and respect and like intrigue. So maybe her.
Okay, so before we keep going, because there's more of this, let's talk about this. She is kind of saying, she first starts off by saying, I don't know how much you've seen, but Omega seeing Asajj Ventress and how she's seeing how this lightsaber wielding Jedi, once was a Sith type character, how she moves. Because the question asked is, Omega copies a lot of people around her, mimics the people around her a lot. We see that in the first 2 seasons. She's copying what Tech does, what Hunter does, what Wrecker does. Like, she's copying them to try to like learn. And she does that often. And the question asked was, who would Omega want to mimic or whatever it was? And she says, Asajj Ventress, but she says that we've already seen this. Now, the reason she says that is because all the people interviewing here, I believe, saw the first 8 episodes early. So a lot of critics and others got to see the first 8 episodes early. I am not one of those people. I'm not angry about it. I'm not mad. But they got to see the first 8 episodes early. And I'm guessing, based off of this response from Michelle, that clearly Omega and Asajj Ventress are going to be on screen together in the first 8 episodes. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, because she wouldn't mention Asajj, because like she's not just thrown into these interviews with no background of what's going on. She knows that we haven't seen Asajj Ventress yet. But if you've seen the first 8 episodes, then you may have seen Asajj Ventress. That's kind of what I think's going on here. And these people have seen the first 8 episodes, and that's why this is a spoiler. But I think Asajj will be in the earlier half of the season. Again, the trailer usually only shows us the first couple episodes of a TV show. So if the first couple episodes of the TV show have Asajj Ventress, Cad Bane, Fennec Shand, then we're going to go into the rest of the show blind, because we've already seen everything that was in the trailer from before. So that's what I think's going on here, and I think we will get a lot of scenes between Omega and Asajj Ventress in this 3rd season. But that means one of 2 things has to happen. Omega breaks out of Mount Tantiss, or Asajj Ventress is at Mount Tantiss. And either way is pretty cool. That means either Asajj Ventress is breaking out of Mount Tantiss herself because she was captured by the Empire somehow, or Omega has already escaped early on in the season and comes face to face with Asajj Ventress. So there's many different ways this could go, but Michelle herself, the voice actress for Omega, just confirmed that Asajj Ventress and Omega come face to face in this 3rd season. But let's keep watching this interview because it gets even crazier.
Over the course of 3 seasons, Omega has kind of won.
Again, so the last person that asked the question was Star Wars Explained. This person who's asking is Star Wars Holocron, and both of which we've read their reviews for the first 8 episodes of the show. So all these people have already seen the first 8 episodes when they get to ask the voice actress for Omega the questions. So they've already seen the first 8 episodes. So that has to be taken into account when she answers the questions.
On everyone's hearts over. There's some beautiful moments, some intimate ones, some epic ones. I'm wondering if there's a particular Omega moment or even episode that really stands out to you across your 3 seasons of work.
Oh my gosh, that stands out to me. It spans so much time, and my memory's so bad. But like, I guess I know you guys haven't seen the finale of season 3 yet, and there were slightly different ways. We weren't set on exactly how it was going to end, so there were sort of some explorations. But like as a actor and as like an emotional sort of moment, I'd have to say that. I know that's such a mean answer because you haven't seen it, but just I feel like it's like the culmination of my journey as a performer and Omega's journey as a character, like all consolidated into like 2 lines or something, yeah.
Hi, Michelle. This is Tara.
Okay, it gets even crazier from here, but let's take a second to talk about that. She, of course, is talking about the finale of this 3rd season itself, the crazy emotional ending that we're going to eventually see. And she says 2 words, Omega says 2 words at the end that are very meaningful. Now, what those 2 words could mean, or what they could be, I should say, I really don't know. But she is saying that there's going to be some very emotional scene in the final episode. Of course, we know a lot of death is coming in this 3rd season. It's not going to be a happy ending, that's for sure. Many of the Bad Batch members from Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, and Crosshair are probably going to die. Omega herself might even die. Like, everybody's kind of on the chopping block, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. When she says it's kind of she says something like it's the end or something, the combination of all of the story arc that Omega's been on. This could be Hunter's death. Is kind of what I'm piecing together, is Hunter's death or Omega herself's death. But I think it could be Hunter's because Hunter's the most important person to her. He's kind of like the father figure to her, and his death would be the most tragic in her eyes. And that's what I think she could be talking about there. But let's watch this one, or listen to, I guess, this one as well.
Tara Bennett from Star Wars Insider Magazine. I wanted to circle back to the question before last, just in terms of talking about the end of the season. It's really special, that you got a chance to complete the arc of your character in the series, and without spoilers, but just in terms of your own experience with it. Did you treat that final script in a different way? Was it? Did you want to know what was coming? Did you want to go pure when you went into it? I know you said that there were still some changes, but at the end of the day, it's the last time maybe that you'll play her. So it's just interesting to see how you kind of treated it, and then if you wanted to be surprised as you read it.
I mean, I knew it was, obviously we knew this was going to be the final season, and it was with great trepidation when I received the last script that I opened it up, and I will admit, it wasn't like I was reading it while I was eating lunch. Like, I had to prepare myself emotionally before opening up the document, because yeah, it is really sentimental, and I was sad. I'm grateful for the journey, but the fact that it had to end after 3 was was surprising and shocking. But also, I think that the writers have done a beautiful job. The gravity of the final sort of moments made it easy to feel like that was the culmination of everything. I was excited in one sort of exploration, because Omega was sort of set up with the possibility of a very large future, perhaps, and then it changed from there. So then I had to park that expectation about where Omega would end up to one side and go with the new idea, which was a little bit bittersweet. But I also was able to see some of the previs because the last 2 episodes took a little bit longer to put together, and that was actually really awesome to see the visualization of those final moments, and that sort of brought the whole experience together.
Okay.
Hang on, there's more to this, but we gotta talk about that. She just confirmed that at least at one point, because the ending was ever changing, they didn't really know what they were going to do until they did it, sort of thing. That was probably to keep secrets and all that other stuff. But she said, of course, she's fallen in love with this character, playing this character for years now. And she thought there was a very bright and long future ahead of Omega's character. And I had to face the facts that that wasn't the case. This isn't like straight on confirming that Omega's going to die, but it doesn't give us much hope that Omega's going to live past this third and final season. I was coming in with the hopes and anticipation that all the other members of the Bad Batch would die and Omega would live, but it could be a complete wipeout of the entire Bad Batch crew in this third season, leading to nothing afterwards. In maybe some sacrificial way, all of them sacrifice themselves to try to stop the cloning efforts on Mount Tantus. That could be a possibility. As Michelle herself, the voice actress for Omega, said here, this could be the end of Omega. This could be the last we see of her. Because at one point she thought that her future was bright and long, and now it doesn't seem to be that way. Wow. What do you guys think about this? Do you think this is Michelle sort of teasing at the fact that Omega's not going to survive, or is there something else going on here? Is she saying that the future isn't that bright for Omega because she's not probably going to be in anything else? Maybe there was supposed to be another show involved, like we have sort of teased at before, with possibly a show following Omega and Asajj Ventress after the events of the Bad Batch. And maybe that show is not happening anymore. Or maybe Omega's character comes to an end. Zap says, I think it's a misdirection. It could be a misdirection, that's for sure. She does definitely know what happens at the end of the show, and she's clearly trying to inch her way around it without telling us any spoilers, obviously. So it could be a misdirection. Fearless says, yeah, I was shocked when I heard that. Me too. I was very shocked. I'm very shocked by this. I listened to this yesterday, and I could not believe it when I heard it. I don't really believe anything until the whole show is done. I mean, I guess. Actors have lied in the past, but it doesn't seem like Michelle is trying to lie to us here. She is talking about the finale often in this interview because it's the most memorable and emotional thing that she probably did throughout the course of the show. And her character could come to an end. There's definitely that possibility. I don't know. Do you guys think she'll die? Do you guys think that she will die? Let me open up the chat so I can see what you guys are talking about here. I'm only seeing my half chat over here. Let's scroll up here. All right, let's see. Here we go. Austin Snow says, I think we are getting the next phase of stormtroopers. Sorry. Yeah, you'll probably see another switch of stormtroopers because they go from the clone trooper armor all the way to the stormtrooper armor, so maybe you'll see that. Zap says, they save Ventress like someone else said from the tank. She could have jumped off before anyone else. That's true. I mean, Asajj could have been in that scene. Yeah, 100%. But I don't think Asajj is going to need saving from the Empire. I think Asajj Ventress probably has that covered on her own, you know? Skywalker Academy says, D. Bradley Baker talks to himself a lot. He must. He definitely must. There's so many scenes of just clones in this show. And think about how little actors they have to pay when D. Bradley Baker is voicing Rex, Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, Tech, Crosshair, Cody, all the clones. Like, he's voicing everybody. So you really don't have to pay that many voice actors to do much of anything, you know? Yeah. Skywalker... Oh, I just read that. Star Wars for Life says, I mean, I pointed out Fennec in the trailer. I'm very proud of that. That was a pretty good catch. Fennec in that trailer working alongside the Bad Batch is pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot in that trailer that doesn't really get that much attention that it should. Chris, what's up, says, I just watched the Madam Web, and the Rotten Tomatoes score is at 15%, and the audience score is 59 for the movie. It's not looking good for the DCU right now. Well, actually, Madam Web's not in the DC. Madam Web is Sony, and it's Marvel. But I have heard that movie's not good. I do not plan on going to see that movie. It looks like a disaster. I don't know how you could stack a cast that much and then make a shitty movie. That's just dumb. quite frankly. And yeah, that's pretty bad. I actually think things are looking really good for the DCU right now. They just casted their Wonder Woman. I mean, not the Wonder Woman. Their Supergirl. And she seems like a good cast. They already casted their Superman, who looks pretty good. And the cast for that movie has sort of leaked out there. That movie will come out next year. A little bit of Marvel news. The Fantastic Four cast was revealed yesterday. That was pretty big. That comes out also next year. Pretty cool. So I think the DCU is looking pretty good. Mace Cameron says, D. Bradley Baker plays over 5 million characters in Star Wars, technically, because there was 5 million clones created. Yeah, he plays millions of characters, for sure. And so does Tamara Morrison, though, because Tamara Morrison was the live-action version of all those characters. Yeah. Neil says, man, Michelle is hot. Great input, Neil. Austin Snow says, maybe Fee will betray the Bad Batch like Sid did. I don't think so. I think Fee's a full member now, or not a member of the Bad Batch, but a full rebel now because she was in love with Tech and Tech died. I think she's definitely going to be helping out with that. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think we will see Sid in the Bad Batch Season 3 and Sid gets a redeeming moment? No. I don't think, well, I do think we will see her again, but I don't think she'll get a redeeming moment. General Grievous, what's up? How's it going? Been a while. Yeah, I don't think Sid will get a redeeming moment. I hope she doesn't, because honestly, I quite frankly dislike her quite a bit. All that the Bad Batch did for her, and she turns on them in the second season, that was a stupid. I don't like Sid, so I hope she gets her head chopped off by Darth Vader. Yeah. Maybe Asajj helps break out Omega. That'd be cool. I think the Bad Batch will sort of get her to help, which would be nice. Ian says, I think in the other interviews on Star Wars Explained, someone asked the writer/producer about Omega being Force sensitive. Really? I haven't watched that one, but I have seen like the video itself. Alex, what's up, says, I think Omega dies. I don't know. I didn't before I watched that interview, and now I kind of do. Sid got it coming. I agree. I think Sid's going to get her head chopped off by Darth Vader. The MCU I meant for Madam Web. Oh, okay. For Madam Web's movie scores aren't looking very good for them. Just like Lisa Frankenstein movie. I don't know what that is. But they just bought out the movie and it was terrible on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't even know what that is, but sure. The MCU is in a weird spot, but next year will hopefully be a lot better. This year is not the year for them. I mean, they got Deadpool, but that's it. Next year will hopefully be better. Yeah. I'm getting a cockatiel, and I think I'm going to name it Hunter. Is that a dog? What's a cockatiel? Tally? I have no idea. Skywalker Academy says, we see Omega and Crosshair running from the wreckage of a shuttle in the trailer. So it's likely early on that they escape. It is likely that that does happen early on. It's a bird. Oh, okay. I get you. You're getting a bird and you're naming it Hunter? That's sick. That's pretty cool. What was I just saying? Oh, yeah. Omega and Crosshair running from the wreckage. So let me go to the scene that he's talking about here. This is early on in the trailer. Right here. Boom. Perfect. Okay. So this right here is a wreckage from a ship, and you see Omega on the hill right there. And then if we...
Sing more of our brothers.
Right there, next to this rock is... Oh, you can see it. Okay. So right there is Crosshair. So you got Crosshair and Omega. They have escaped, and this must be early on in the season, but they don't escape the planet. They get shot down. So I don't know if this is them really escaping or they're just attempt at an escape. That still remains to be seen. We don't really know. Yeah. But that's what he's talking about. Catherine says, with Fennec Shand is in the mix to... Wait. What if Fennec Shand is in the mix to rescue Omega on behalf of Boba? Well, no, because Boba and Fennec, haven't met yet. Boba and Fennec don't meet until after the events of the original trilogy. Yeah. Neil says, with the push to put women in the forefront of Star Wars, I can't imagine they off her. And we all know that lightsabers can't kill women. Well, that's just wrong, but in so many ways. But I do think that, a lot of female characters, of course, are in Star Wars, but that's the same to say with a lot of male characters. I could see Omega dying. I could. The only reason I don't think she will die is because she's the youngest and she has the most potential for the future. I think Wrecker, Hunter, and the others, they all have the accelerated growth and they will all not really survive much longer. And it would be more meaningful to their stories if they had some sacrifice at the end of this third season to not only continue Omega's story, but also to end theirs in a very meaningful way. Yep. Call me crazy, but Tech is somehow alive. Crazy. Austin, you're crazy. Happy? How old is Omega in The Bad Batch Season 3? How old is she? I actually don't know. Let's look it up. How old is Omega? Star Wars. Omega is 12 years old, I think, by the time of the first season of The Bad Batch. So probably about 13. 13-ish, I'd guess. I would guess 13-ish years old by this time of the third season. So 13, she's got a long future ahead of her because she doesn't have the accelerated growth, you know? Yeah. Oh, damn it. It just scrolled down to the bottom. Oh, found it. Okay. How long do clones live? Clones live, I mean, with the accelerated aging, I really don't know. But with Omega, she can live the normal life expectancy of a human because she doesn't have that accelerated growth, you know? Yeah. Zap says, I really don't believe anything until I watch the whole show. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Maggie says, I don't know. I've never thought about it. I'm guessing that the age thing, an aging thing with the Kaminoans, I'm guessing maybe around 50 years old. Well, the clones were kind of just made for the war. So they were accelerated to age to the date that they could become soldiers. And then they weren't really supposed to live that long. RG50, what's up? How we doing? Yeah. D. Bradley Baker voices millions of characters. That's true. I mean, clones age twice as fast, so maybe 40 because humans usually live to about 80. Yeah, that could be it. They could live to about 40. That would make sense. Yeah. That would make sense. Well, doesn't Rex survive till at least Return of the Jedi? So he's alive at least, yeah, that's probably like 30-ish years, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Tony says, did that question come from a Star Wars employee on that show? No. So these questions that are being asked to Michelle in this interview are from different Star Wars medias, different Star Wars, like me, like a different Star Wars creator. These people just have the cool, I guess, ability to watch the first 8 episodes early because they were gifted them by Lucasfilm. And they get to actually interview Michelle as well. So let's actually continue this interview. We got a few more questions here that are pretty telling as well. There's a lot of cool more information here. So let's keep it going.
Great. So basically, Omega is in the first part of the season, she's captive. And before that, she was free with the Bad Batch. Is there anything you did different with like your prep or your voice acting to display those differences?
That's actually really insightful as a question because there was this talk about like how long has she been in this facility? And, we've all talked about her optimism in the face of, terrible things. But even like I wanted to make sure it felt real that she was a prisoner, and so that kind of the dreariness, the mundaneness, and, she's kept in this cell with like nothing stimulating. And it's, her closest person that she gets to converse with is Emery, who, although she's her sister, is like so cold and emotionally withholding. So yeah, in terms of performance, it's like having a physical toll of mundaneness adds a bit of like weight, or it does change your vocal quality, and I did think a lot about that. And sometimes, the tension between wanting to remain optimistic, but like then physically sort of feeling the burden of, being kept, or being in a sterile environment. And I think that was quite important. I'm glad that you touched on it, because it's a pretty dark.
Okay, well, that's the last question, I guess. But let's talk about this. She's talking about, again, the biggest question that I think is very important to this third season upcoming, is that Omega's been in this prison on Mount Tantus for who knows how long. We don't know. And she's saying that after a while, obviously, she's going to lose hope, and the only person that she can talk to is her sister, Emery, who she never even knew that she had. And we're going to get a lot we're going to find out a lot about what's going on with Emery and all this other stuff. But we don't know how long she's trapped there. We don't know how much time has gone past since season 2. And that's going to be a big question that needs to be answered almost right off the bat in the first episode, for sure. So, yeah, maybe let's see if they did the same thing with this one.
What's up, everyone?
No spoilers and spoilers. Okay, perfect. So we can do this too. This is from the head writer and the supervising director of The Bad Batch Season 3. And this is the same type of interview with Star Wars Explained and other creators that got to watch the first 8 episodes. So we can watch this as well. But let's just recap on what Omega's voice actress, Michelle Ang, said. And we'll talk about this first in the chat, and then we'll get to these guys and what they had to say. All right. So thanks for the hearts, guys. I appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, smash a freaking like on this video. Jesus Christ. So let's talk about Omega. After hearing all that she's going to come face-to-face with Asajj Ventress probably earlier on in the season than we think, and that she's been trapped there for God knows how long in this cell on Mount Tantus, and she might die. Michelle herself said that she had this hope that Omega would have this massive future ahead of her, and she had to sort of change her expectations and change the way that she saw the ending. Do you guys think she died? Do you guys think that Omega is going to die? In 6 days, we are going to start The Bad Batch Season 3. In 10 weeks, are we going to be sitting here going, holy crap, did Omega just die? I don't know. I really don't. What do you guys think? Is Omega going to die? What do we think? What do we think? Star Wars for Life says she's at least 1 year older than the rest of her brothers. That's true. I think, yeah, so that's kind of crazy. She's 13, and that means Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair, and Tech, who's I guess dead now, they are all only 12 years old. Quite young. Yeah. Austin says, if Tech is alive and he goes undercover as a contract for his brothers, I don't think so. Or a contact for his brother, I don't think so. I think Tech is going to remain dead, hopefully. Ian says, Omega was born 1 year after the Phantom Menace. She must have been one of the very first clones. Well, she was not one of the very first, but she probably was in that first phase 1 of clones, and an unaltered clone, just like Boba Fett was. Yeah. If Tech came back, it would ruin his sacrifice. I agree with that. I don't want Tech to come back. No. Does Boba Fett know about Omega in either Legends or canon? Well, Omega doesn't really exist in Legends because she's a pretty brand new character in canon. So, no. We don't know that Boba Fett knows about Omega at all. Omega was kept a secret on Kamino, never really to be revealed to Boba Fett, so I don't think he does. And I don't even know if Omega knows about... Actually, Omega probably does know about Boba Fett, but probably doesn't know if he's still alive or anything. So if the two of them met, it would be pretty interesting. It would be pretty interesting. Jason, what's up? How's it going? Star Wars for Life says, I hope that Omega does not die. And you think it will be Hunter that will die? I think Hunter will die as well. I think all the Bad Batch will die. The only one who I don't think will die is Omega. And now even that is being put kind of on shaky ground for me because of what Michelle just said to us. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait. That's all I know. I can't wait. Fearless says no. Okay. Chris says, bro, I hope not. I'd be pissed off because that would ruin the plot of the third season for me. The Bad Batch, for me. I love the first 2 seasons and where they took the plot. So you think if they killed off Omega, it would ruin the show? Here's the thing. I've said this a million times over again. The Bad Batch don't show up in anything else. They're not in Kenobi. They're not in Rebels. They're not in the original trilogy. They're not in the Mandoverse. So they have to die off eventually. Why not kill them all off in their own show? Give them a way out. Give them a meaningful end. Maybe Omega can continue, like I said, with the next animated show, where it's Omega learning to use the Force with Asajj Ventress and getting to see the hidden path and getting all this underworld stuff with Star Wars in a time period where we never really have explored in between Order 66 and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. That would be pretty damn cool. Getting the beginnings of the rebellion and also the hidden path and trying to save Jedi. We know Quinlan Vos is involved with that. We know Quinlan Vos is heavily involved with Asajj Ventress, and she is involved in the Bad Batch season 3. So there could be a lot of that going on in this third season, setting up the next animated show, and Omega could be a part of that. I think what's the coolest aspect about this upcoming third season that starts next week is that everything is up in the air. Anyone can die. Dr. Hemlock can die. Nala Se can die. Mount Tantus can explode because we haven't seen it anywhere else in live action or in animation yet. We could see all the Bad Batch members die, and we could get a lot of other things. Let's talk about this a little bit here. Let me pull this up first. Let me pull this up. Let's see. Likes. No. How do I find this? One sec. Let's go here. Okay, found it. Perfect. So let me go. We talked about this on Tuesday. This was one of the first reviews for the first 8 episodes, and we read a ton of reviews on Tuesday's stream. But this one was one of the most shocking ones because of what Star Wars Holocron says. And we read this on Tuesday, so if it sounds familiar, it's because it is. The Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 1 through 8 are phenomenal. Mature tone and focusing on overarching plots over one-off stories. This season ties the entire saga together from the Prequel Trilogy to The Mandalorian to The Rise of Skywalker. Omega and Crosshair are the show's heart, and Palpatine has never been scarier. So let's talk about this. We talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, but this could be the most important aspect of the entire third season of The Bad Batch. The fact that it's connecting and tying together the entire saga of Star Wars. That means one thing and one thing only: Palpatine and his cloning. That's it. Are we going to see Exegol? Are we going to see Snoke? Are we going to see Rey's dad, Dathan, and him being a clone of Palpatine? Are we going to get to see that on Mount Tantus? Are we going to get to see Exegol itself? Is this third season of The Bad Batch going to end with the destruction of Mount Tantus, sacrificing the Bad Batch members to destroy all efforts of the Kaminoans and Dr. Hemlock on Mount Tantus? And then is the final, post-credit scene going to be Palpatine arriving on Exegol? And being like, that was just a minor setback, and then looking at a back-to-tank full of Snoke? Or talking to his little son, Dathan, and be like, Dathan, you're a failure. You're not even Force sensitive. Go away. And then shooing him away as he goes and makes Rey. I think there's going to be a lot of connection from this Bad Batch Season 3 to what's going on with Palpatine. What's going on with cloning? What's going on with Exegol? How does this pertain to The Mandalorian? Maybe with Grogu. Maybe with Thrawn. Maybe with cloning again, because we see the cloning facility on Navarro with a possible Snoke-type clone, as we hear Snoke's theme when we see that back-to-tank on Navarro in The Mandalorian. So all of this could be connected. All of it, from the prequels to The Mandalorian to the sequels, it's all going to be connected by this one tiny little animated show that starts next week. So that's what I think is going to be very, very important about this third season. And I've said it a bajillion times at this point. The Bad Batch members don't exist past this season, except for possibly Omega. So the importance of this third season is Palpatine. Holocron saying that Palpatine has never been scarier is the best thing that we can hear. And the fact that it, of course, ties together the entire saga. The third season of a show called The Bad Batch ties together the entire saga. Who would have thunk it? It's quite crazy, and I could not be more excited. Honestly, season 3 of The Bad Batch coming into 2024 was not even close to the top of my list for most anticipated shows. I was way more excited for Skeleton Crew. I was way more excited for The Acolyte, and I was even way more excited for Tales of the Jedi Season 2. The Bad Batch was pretty much at the bottom of my list. And here we are, 6 days before it, and I could not be more excited. I could not be more excited. Yeah. I really couldn't. It's awesome. Yeah. I'm so excited. Palpatine is trending on Twitter, by the way, right now. He's taking over already. Star Wars for Life says the Republic really flipped off child labor laws. I mean, kinda, by just doing accelerated aging. Yeah. Maggie says, if everybody in the Bad Batch dies, why make the show? Seems kind of useless. That's a great point, Maggie. Why make the Bad Batch a show? Why make the Bad Batch characters at all if you're just going to kill them off? And that's why I think this whole ties the entire saga together with Palpatine's cloning is going to be so important in this third season. I think this entire show, the entire existence of the Bad Batch characters was to explain cloning, was to explain Mount Tantus and Palpatine's efforts and prove that Palpatine has had this contingency plan since day one. I think the Bad Batch was to completely explain the sequel trilogy. I think the Bad Batch are characters created by Dave Filoni in the Clone Wars Season 7 to get their own 3-season show to explain Palpatine's cloning efforts and explain the sequel trilogy and how somehow Palpatine... I think all of this, all 3 seasons, is to explain one line in The Rise of Skywalker, and that is somehow Palpatine returned. I truly do. I think that's why this is going to happen. I think that's why the Bad Batch members are all going to die, because they served their purpose. They did. And I think that purpose is to destroy Mount Tantus and try to stop Palpatine's cloning efforts, but they're going to fail because we know that his cloning efforts succeed, and maybe this is a minor step back for Palpatine in his cloning days. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Do you really think that this could be just all an attempt to prove that Palpatine has been cloning since day one? Palpatine's cloning efforts needed to be shown somehow. And they needed to be shown early on in the timeline. Early on in that sort of in between the prequels, original trilogy era. So how would you do that? Dave Filoni came up with the perfect way to do that. By giving us a new group of Clone Force 99 in the Clone Wars Season 7, and then giving them their own show to give us Mount Tantus, to give us cloning on Kamino, to give us the end of Kamino, to give us Nala Se cloning on Mount Tantus, to give us Dr. Hemlock, to give us Palpatine's plans, to give us possible hints towards Exegol, possible hints towards Snoke. All of this could be an attempt to show that Palpatine's always been cloning. It's pretty damn genius if I do say so myself. Pretty damn genius. Yeah. Yeah. Skywalker Academy says Mount Tantus will be ripped apart by Vader fighting the Zillo Beast. Anakin failed to stop one, but this one will die. I don't think so. I think the Zillo Beast will play a part in this third season, but I don't think Vader's going to be fighting the Zillo Beast. That would be insane. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so. Chris says, are you going to see Star Wars The Phantom Menace 25th anniversary re-release on May 3rd? Yes, I will. I will definitely be there. I am very excited for it because I was not alive to watch that in the movie theaters. So any chance I get to go watch Star Wars in the movies, I will be there. May 3rd, I'll probably go watch it once, if not twice, in the movie theaters. That'll be a very fun time. Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, on May 3rd, which is May the 4th weekend, it'll probably be out all week for that weekend and into next week. From May 3rd to, I guess, like May 10th or something. The Phantom Menace is being re-released into movie theaters to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the movie. And yeah, if you want to go watch The Duel of the Fates in the movie theaters, that's where you should be. And I'm definitely going, Chris, for sure. Are you? Star Wars for Life says, I swear you always wear that X-Wing shirt. You know what? You know what? I do. Because it's a good shirt, you know? And guys, trust me, I make sure I'm not wearing the same shirt on back-to-back streams. I check like all the time. I'm like, wait, what shirt did I wear last stream? Because I have a ton of Star Wars shirts, as you guys have clearly noticed. A ton of Star Wars shirts. So this is one of my favorites. That's why I wear it often. But I do go back and make sure. I didn't today, so that would be so freaking funny if I wore this shirt last stream. But I don't think I did. I could be wrong, but I don't think I did. But yes, I have a ton of these, ton of Star Wars shirts. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll wear them all, and then just throughout the stream, I'll just take one off at a time and just show all my different Star Wars shirts. Catherine says, probably not seeing the 25th anniversary. No. Chris says, because I'm a Star Wars fan, and do you think that we will get some extra footage for the 25th anniversary? Ooh, interesting. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, because there was the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi last year, and there was no extra footage with that. So I doubt that there will be extra footage, but maybe some like behind the scenes stuff before or after the movie. I'm not too sure. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I bet you Omega meets the Emperor. I do too, Fearless. That would be a crazy scene. Omega meeting the Emperor. It would be a lot like Ezra Bridger meeting the Emperor. And maybe the Emperor is the one who tells us that Omega's Force sensitive. He just walks in the room and he's like, she's Force sensitive. And then points at the camera and he's like, and you all knew it. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Catherine says, I saw it 25 years ago when it came out. Oh, meh. Lucky you, Catherine. Lucky you. Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Dun dun! This is a big cup. I got big hands, so I make the cup look not that big. It's a big cup. It's like a massive cup. I mean, like, it's bigger than my head. And I got a big head. It's hard to... I'm a big human, so it's hard to really tell you guys how big this cup truly is. Because I'm just huge. So I don't really know what to compare it to here. A pen? Like, look at this pen in my hand. I look like a giant. Who did this? There we go. Star Wars for Life says, should I post some pictures of my animals on Discord? You got animals? What kind of animals? Catherine says, I saw Star Wars when it first came out in 1977. Catherine, stop bragging to us. That's awesome. I wish I was there. Sick invite, by the way. Fearless says, who was Sifo Dyas? Is that what you mean? Sifo Dyas again? The cloning starting with him somehow. So Master Sifo Dyas was a Jedi. And he, a lot like Anakin, had Force visions. And his visions were sort of that there was a impending war coming. This was before the Clone Wars even began. This was before the Trade Federation. This was before the Phantom Menace. Yeah, before the Phantom Menace. Actually, no, it was in between the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. So it was before the Attack of the Clones, before this Clone Wars ever was close to being started. And he saw this war coming. And he tried to warn the Jedi, and they were like, what are you talking about, buddy? There's no war coming. And he went to Kamino and convinced the Kaminoans to make them an army. And that's why when Obi-Wan goes in Attack of the Clones, the Kaminoans tell him that Master Sifo Dyas is the one who asked for this army. And Obi-Wan says Sifo Dyas died 5 years ago. What does he say? 5 years ago? And actually Dooku and the Emperor are the ones who killed him. They made it look like an accident and they killed him. Yeah. Yeah. So that's who Sifo Dyas is. The pod race would look super cool in theaters. Exactly. And so would the Duel of the Fates. I mean, Star Wars is meant to be seen on a movie theater screen, so getting any chance I can to go see it on a movie theater screen, I'm going to. Yeah. Ventress is back. Yes, she is, General Grievous, and it's very cool to see. We got some more teases that there will be more Ventress after the Bad Batch Season 3. We talked about this a few weeks ago because the voice actress for Ventress confirmed this herself, but now we're getting even more confirmation that Asajj Ventress will continue past Season 3 and probably in Tales of the Jedi Season 2 and maybe even in another animated show. Yeah. Thank you for the Good Cubs follow orders. Appreciate it. Chris says, my friend made me a cup just like yours, but it's the sequels, all 7 through 8 and 9. Pretty dope cup. Oh, it's got all 3 on them. Yeah, this is just Rise of Skywalker, and it's clearly been beaten up. I don't even know how this happens. Like, it's not chipping off. Like, I can't chip this stuff off. So I don't know how this happened. I really don't. Like, what happened to this cup? Who did this? I don't know, but it's been through some stuff. It's seen things that I didn't want to see. Catherine says, one of the favorite perks of being a senior citizen, LOL. Yeah, getting to see all the Star Wars movies. Hey, whatever it takes, Catherine, whatever it takes. May says, the first Star Wars movie I saw in the cinema was Rogue One. Not as cool. Rogue One's an incredible Star Wars movie. What are you talking about? That is a cool one to start off on. My first one I saw in the movies, I think probably was the Clone Wars movie. But, yeah. Either that or The Force Awakens, I guess. Yeah. But I have since seen Empire and Return of the Jedi in theaters. So this year I'll watch Phantom Menace. Hopefully next year I'll watch Revenge of the Sith. And hopefully they release Attack of the Clones sometime this year too, because they missed out on that. Yeah. Yeah. May says, imagine the pod race scene with 3D glasses. Ooh. I don't really like watching movies in 3D, but that's kind of tempting. Yeah. Yeah. So the cloning started with him and Palpatine wasn't involved. Yes. Sifo Dyas was the one who went to the Kaminoans to ask for the clone army. But there's some sort of it's a lot of mystery behind that, like whether or not Palpatine placed those visions in his mind, a lot like some fans think that Palpatine placed the visions in Anakin's mind of Padme's death to sort of get him to the dark side. So there's a lot of sort of weird stuff about that we don't really know. We do know for a fact from Tales of the Jedi that Dooku is the one who went into the Jedi archives before he went fully Sith and erased Kamino from the archives at the Jedi Temple. And that's why Obi-Wan can't find it in Attack of the Clones. So that's a cool detail. He used Master Sifo Dyas's code or whatever to get rid of it, but Sifo Dyas was already dead at that time. Yeah. Tony says, I saw someone else on another channel with that same cup. Really? With this same cup? That's crazy. Is it all beat up like this? I bet you it doesn't have as good of a reputation as my cup does. I mean, not as cool as A New Hope being the first I saw in cinemas. But that would have been way cooler. I mean, I guess, but can't all be winners. Palpatine was involved. He made Dooku get Sifo Dyas start the cloning. Yeah. I mean, Palpatine was involved with the whole Sifo Dyas thing, but a lot of it is still kind of up in the air. Chris says, I just subscribed to this dope channel on Instagram called A Guy Who Loves Star Wars. Oh, yeah, you guys should all go do that. On Instagram? Oh, he's a great guy. Ian says, I think Dooku persuaded his close friend Sifo Dyas to place the order for the clones. That could definitely be it. I mean, Palpatine had his strings attached to everything, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's how they would go about it. Maybe the ending has something to do with the beginning of the cloning program then. Maybe. See, Camino we saw come to an end at the end of season 1. Season 2 sort of introduced Mount Tantus, and I think season 3 is going to see the end of Mount Tantus, or like Palpatine moving his cloning facility to Exegol or something like that. Because I do think we'll get a lot of connecting tissue to the sequel trilogy and The Mandalorian, at least to Rise of Skywalker, to sort of explain Palpatine's cloning efforts on Exegol. I think we will maybe even see Exegol, which would be insane. Or at least a mention of it. I think we'll definitely get a mention of it. But seeing it would be so cool. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Tony says, the cup appears to be in better shape, but yours has more love to it. Exactly. Yeah, come on. To be honest, I always thought that Dooku placed the order for the clones posing as Sifo-Dyas. He could do that. He could have done that. Because the Kaminoans wouldn't know who Sifo-Dyas was. But, yeah, I mean, he could have done that. But as far as I think the canon goes, I don't know if it's canon or Legends right now. But, actually, we can look this up. Let's look it up. Master Sifo-Dyas Star Wars. Here we go. Let's look up his Wikipedia. Only canon information, though. Canon information. Here we go. Sifo-Dyas. Let's read it. Why not? Sifo-Dyas was a human male Jedi master from Menace, who was commissioned by the Kaminoans' creation of the Grand Army of the Republic over a decade before the Clone Wars. Over a decade before the Clone Wars began. Yes. Crazy. Yeah. A Jedi from a chorus from the Khazandran worlds, whatever. Sifo-Dyas was gifted with the power of foresight. So this is saying that he was gifted with this sight, and it wasn't placed in his mind by Palpatine. And he earned a seat on the Jedi High Council prior to the invasion of Naboo. So he was on the Jedi Council before Episode 1, before The Phantom Menace. Yeah. When he foresaw a coming war that would ravage the galaxy, he believed that the Galactic Republic would require an army if it were to prevail. Again, this is all canon information. This is the canon side of things. They would need an army if they were to prevail. Yet his peers on the Jedi Council rejected his notion, leading to his removal from the council. So the Jedi were so blind, as they always have been in the in the prequel trilogy, that they didn't even acknowledge what he was saying because they didn't believe him. Yeah. Nevertheless, he pursued his idea in secret and contacted the Kaminoan cloners. So here we go. He's doing it himself. Count Dooku's not really involved in this too much. Yeah. Purporting to have the authorization of the Council and the Galactic Senate to raise his army of the Republic. In doing so, he unknowingly entered the crosshairs of the Sith, who set out to assume control of his cloning project. So he needed some backing for this cloning, and that's kind of where Palpatine comes in. Around the time of the invasion of Naboo, Supreme Chancellor Valorum requested Sifo-Dyas conduct clandestine negotiations with the Pike Syndicate. Okay, here we go. And he heard from Obadiah and he headed for Obadiah with Valorum's personal aide, Silman. However, Sith Lord Darth Tyrannus, or Count Dooku, who is Darth Tyrannus, honestly, he's got one of the coolest Sith Lord names ever in Darth Tyrannus, and he never uses it. He's always Count Dooku, which is sad. But nevertheless, we continue. Who was Sifo-Dyas? Dooku was Sifo-Dyas' friend and former Jedi Dooku. Betrayed him by hiring the Pikes to target Sifo-Dyas' T-6 shuttle. The Pikes shot down his ship over the Obadiah moon, and Sifo-Dyas died in the result of the crash. There you go. And then that just goes on for the rest of it. So, Sifo-Dyas dies in a Pike shooting down his plane, but the Pikes were hired by Count Dooku to do so. So after he commissioned the Kaminoans to create a clone army, then Palpatine and Dooku killed him off. So that's who Sifo Dyas is. But yes, he did have the power to see into the future, and he did go to the Kaminoans himself and do that. Yeah. Your pal Joe, what's up? Says, I'm back. Nice. What's up? And that badge just gets cooler and cooler. That 6-month badge is so damn cool. I was not happy that I lost my badge. YouTube is rude. Well, it's back now. Tony says, we are an hour in there's 14 watching, but only 9 likes. Come on, guys, hit that like button. What are we doing? Do we really only have 9 likes on the stream? What the fuck? Oh, we got 19. You lied to me, Tony. 19 likes is pretty damn good, I must say. Joe says, I always thought the Emperor placed the order for the clones, posing as Sifo Dyas. Well, according to canon, that's not the case. Sifo Dyas did it himself and then was killed shortly after. Yeah. Ian says, we do know that Sifo Dyas had visions in the Clone Wars, of the Clone Wars. Yeah, we do know that, for sure. May says, quick question. If I am able to find one of the Empire magazine things, I don't have Discord, so how would I send you the pictures? Twitter is an option, but I would prefer Instagram. Well, I'm on both. A guy who loves Star Wars on Instagram, a guy who loves Star Wars on Twitter, a guy who loves Star Wars on everything, okay? On Instagram, yeah, guy who loves Star Wars. Hit me up. Send me those pictures. Pictures. Yeah. Ian says, so he placed the order before the Phantom Menace? Yes, he did. So before the Phantom Menace even happened, there was the order to create the clone army. You have to remember, because it would take time for them to have an army ready. And by Attack of the Clones, there's already an army sitting there ready to go. And it takes at least, from what we see, 10-ish years to get those clones, even with the accelerated aging, to the age where they can fight in a war. Yeah. Yeah. All good, Joe. Maggie says, Clone Wars Season 6, Episode 10 explains it. I don't remember what happened to that episode, but I agree with you, because I think that's the episode with Yoda, and when he's learning to become a Force Ghost, and he talks to Master Sifo Dyas. Chris says, I just pushed the like, and now we've hit 20 likes. That's awesome. 20 likes on a stream is pretty crazy. That's awesome. I appreciate all you guys so much. All right, let's get back to the goods of the Bad Batch. Now that we got completely off topic with Sifo Dyas, let's listen in on this spoiler zone, I guess, of the same thing Star Wars Explained in this interview with Jennifer Colbert and Brad Rao, the head writer and one of the executive producers of this 3rd season.
Quick to say, we're now at the spoiler part of the interview, so this is your warning.
Yeah, William Devereaux, Ion Cannon Podcast. The dynamic between Crosshair and Echo is so well written, especially in the first half of season 3. There's a lot of heart despite everything that Crosshair has put them through. How did you approach writing their dynamic between these two characters in the final season?
Well, Crosshair has a lot to make up for, and he has still to go through and process the things that he's done, and it's never easy to admit when you're wrong. And what I love about season 3 is that we're with him as he's going on this journey, and guiding him is Omega, because Omega is the one who can see things very clearly, but also how the squad embraces him or doesn't embrace him initially is very much true to their character and also why they feel this way. But yeah, and that relationship with him and everyone will continue to evolve in the episodes you guys haven't seen yet.
Yeah, some of my favorite moments in season 3 are conversations between Omega and Crosshair. It's just wait for it. It's incredible.
Hey.
So the first question's about Omega and Crosshairs, but what Jennifer said there was that the crew, speaking of Wrecker, Hunter, and Echo, their reaction and their actually giving in to having Crosshair coming back is what's interesting in this 3rd season, and she didn't want to give it away, but that does give away a little bit of information, because that confirms that Crosshair is, in fact, with the crew at some point in this 3rd season. And obviously we saw that in the trailer, but it is confirmation from the head writer of the show herself.
We are Richard and Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland, and we want to tap into this water theme.
As Omega is held in her room in Mount Tantus, which she's told is not a cell, we see water continuously dripping from the faucet. And that can have so many symbolic meanings, but we'd really like to hear from you and what you guys think it means or wanted it to mean.
Well, maybe we won't answer 100%, but it is very symbolic. And we always wanted this sense of sort of monotony in that episode. You don't really know how much time has passed in Jin's awesome script. When I was talking to Saul Ruiz, who was the episodic director for that episode, it was an idea that he came up with his story team. Like, oh, Saul, incredible, because we were trying to find a way, when do we put in the music? When do we not have music? And in that little room that she's in, it's not technically a prison, but it's a prison. How do we convey that? So when the team, and this is just an example of how we make every episode, we're constantly collaborating with all of our storytellers behind the scenes to get the image on frame, to get the sound just the way it's got to be. And that reverberated all the way, literally all the way through the episode to the end when we were doing the mix at Skywalker Sound with David Collins. And it was Collins, the drip, we need like a little bit more reverb. And then he had all of his ideas for when we hear it as well. We talked a lot about that dripping water, actually.
Interesting. So this is probably referring to, again, all these people have seen the first 8 episodes. This is probably referring to these first couple episodes here where we're getting this story arc between Omega and Crosshair. And we saw the first clip from the first episode. Let's go full screen for a second. We saw the first clip from the first episode where Omega crawls through the vents and is talking to Crosshair, talking about an escape. And he's like, I've already tried that. We can't do that. And this might be referring to that first couple episodes where Omega is probably in the same room, even though it's not a prison. She does feel like a prisoner here. And there's probably, what they're saying here, there is a dripping water. And it's symbolic, of course, because she grew up on a planet full of water. But it's also sort of what they say, making it so that we don't really know how much time has passed. And it's the same water dripping over and over and over and over again. So that'll be pretty interesting. I think that is something that will happen in the first 3 episodes that we're getting next week. Something that'll probably be something pretty cool in those first 3 episodes. We're going to get a lot of information about what's going on in Mount Tantus, the cloning stuff, but also what is going on with Omega, why she's so important, and Crosshair. Why did they not just kill Crosshair? Why did they bring Crosshair to Mount Tantus? That'll be pretty interesting to see as well. But let's keep watching this.
To talk about Fennec Shand, was she always in the plan, or did you end up in a space and realize that she fit the story you were telling?
I'd say a little bit of both, because we knew that bounty hunters were a particular part of a storyline. And since we had seen Fennec Shand interact with Omega in the Batch in season 1, she was a natural character to kind of slot in there. And also just that her personality versus Hunter and Wrecker is just something that I'd pay to see. And again, any chance to work with Ming-Na we'll take, because she's phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you again for taking the time to talk with us.
True. So we know Fennec's in this 3rd season. We saw her in the trailer. But from what I think Skywalker Academy found it. No, Star Wars for Life, I think, found it. We see Fennec Shand working with the Bad Batch. If we can find this really quickly, let's do it. We go back to this trailer. We see in this one quick scene here, we see Fennec Shand working with the Bad Batch, meaning, I think it's towards the end. Oh, right here. Boom. Oh, that's the exact scene. Go down. Hang on. No. Oh, wait. No. Oh, damn it. I'm so bad at this pausing thing. There it is. So Fennec Shand is right there working with Hunter and Wrecker here. Somehow, some way, she is hanging out with them. So she's clearly going to be important. She was in the 1st season. She kind of had a connection to Omega. She wasn't really a bad guy in that 1st season. She started out as one because she was trying to kidnap her. But then on her 2nd approach, she actually saves Omega's life for the Kaminoans, for an Alisei. So it's possible that she could be a good guy in this 3rd season and working right alongside. And even Jennifer says here, having her and her personality up against like a Wrecker or a Hunter is very interesting, and that's kind of why we get her in this third season. But that's pretty cool. She's working with the Bad Batch, which is awesome. So, yeah. Whoops, wrong one.
Omega's high M count, which I think we're all reading through the lines, probably is midichlorian count, implies that she has the Force, or at least a high affinity for it. Of course, in the first 2 seasons, there have been many moments where she seemed to have either be very talented or have some connection in some way. Of course, without spoiling anything, how did you approach laying the groundwork for this reveal throughout the previous seasons?
Well, I'll say anytime you mention that word, I think a lot of people perk up. All we can really say is that I know a lot of you have questions about that, and things will be answered, through the end of season 3. But it is a balance that we're trying to strike, because it's we have to be very conscious of what we're saying and what the things that you're hearing mean. So without spoiling too much, that's an answer or a non-answer.
Okay, so before even Brad starts to talk, hold up, wait a second. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we have not heard that Omega has a high M count. Right? So, like I said a million times this stream so far, these people who are asking the questions have watched the first 8 episodes. Meaning, in those first 8 episodes, we find out that Omega does have a high midichlorian count. Am I wrong? Do we know that she had a high M count from the first 2 seasons? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think that this will high mic count. Yeah, no. I think this will happen in this 3rd season in the first 8 episodes, and that's what they're talking about here. And what's actually interesting is the answer to that question is very, very telling, because I think this is clearly something that's going to happen. I think this is almost confirming it, that Omega is going to be Force sensitive. It's bound to happen at this point. It's fully expected. I would be way more surprised if she wasn't Force sensitive at this point. This is clearly telling, clearly something that's going to happen. Wow. But let's see what Brad has to say about this.
A lot went into every single time you hear any of those kind of words and what it means and how that comes to be. It took a lot of careful planning.
So he says a lot of careful planning went into every time you heard one of those words. The M count, the Force sensitivity, all that stuff, midichlorians. When we hear those words be said in this 3rd season, they are going to be on purpose. They're going to have a purpose. And that is crazy. We're talking Force sensitive cloning, ladies and gentlemen, in this 3rd season of the Bad Batch. We're talking Omega being Force sensitive, having a high M count. This is just the beginning. The Mandalorian Season 3 gave us a whole army, or I guess 10, if you can call that an army, 10 Force-sensitive Moff Gideon clones. Rise of Skywalker gives us a Force-sensitive clone of Sidious. This Bad Batch Season 3 could be the start of that. Omega could be the start of that. She could be the first successful clone Force-sensitive. And that is something. That is definitely something. So this 3rd season is going to be quite crazy. But what do you guys think about that? They just might have confirmed themselves, the head writer and these people who saw the first 8 episodes. They might have just confirmed that we are going to find out that Omega does have a high M count, and that likely means that she is Force sensitive in some way in this 3rd season. That's insane. That's crazy. So from these interviews with the head writer and producer, and the voice actress for Omega, Michelle Ang, we got a ton of information. First of all, Omega's going face-to-face with Asajj Ventress. Omega might die in this 3rd season. And she could be Force sensitive, and it's highly likely that she is, which is fascinating. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, let me scroll up in the chat here. See what we're talking about. Oh, here we go. John Groom, what's up? Says, hi all. Sorry I missed the last couple. Been busy. Don't worry about it, John. Appreciate you being here. John, have you seen the 6-month badge that Joe has? Because you're coming close to that 6-month badge, I think, too. It's pretty sick. It's Vader's lightsaber, and the red just looks so sweet. Not that yours isn't cool. Yours is Ahsoka, and Ahsoka's cool as well. Fearless says, how fits this in the timeline? Oh, where does the Bad Batch fit in the timeline? So the Bad Batch is right after Order 66. So it's right after the prequel trilogy. But it's like 15 years, or probably even more, before the original trilogy. So it's before all of it, pretty much, except for the prequels, obviously. But yeah. When was Omega born? Omega was born, 12, 13 years before this. So she's probably born around the beginning of the prequel trilogy, around the first group of clones being created by the Kaminoans. Probably. Maggie says, Yoda talks to the Force ghost of Qui-Gon. They find Sifo Dyas's lightsaber and start an investigation. Yes, that does make sense. I remember that, yeah. That does ring some bells. John Groom says, I've got a feeling that Omega will die. I don't think that was the original plan, but because of her limited popularity, I think they changed their minds. Interesting. I actually disagree. I think Omega has become more popular since season 1, and that's why she will survive. But maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong info. Ian says, I think the Bad Batch will all happily retire on Endor and then get eaten by Ewoks. What a happy ending. That would be great. That would be amazing. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. John Groom says, yeah, we did. Don't remember what episode, but it was mentioned. It was mentioned in the first 2 seasons that Omega has a high M count. I feel like that would have been breaking news for like years and years to come. I don't remember that at all. Catherine says, also Googled the age of clones, and the answer is from 35 to 50. Or how old they live to, you're saying? May says, there is nothing about her having a midichlorian count. So yes, this is new information. That's what I thought. So this has to happen in the first 8 episodes. So that might be a big like reveal in this first half of the season, that she has a high M count, which confirms that she's Force sensitive. Confirms. So yeah, that's awesome, because I made a video about it already, and actually 2 videos about this already, and that just means I'm right, you know? It just means I'm right. And I'm just always right, you know? Just, you know. No big deal. Fearless says, so Omega is an older than Hunter and the others. Yes, she is. She's older than them, because she talks about watching them grow up. Yeah. Skywalker Academy says, the Phantom Menace was around 32 BBY, whereas the Revenge of the Sith is 19 BBY. The Bad Batch is from 19 BBY to 14 BBY. So the clones are already in production in Attack of the Clones, and are likely experiments before 32. They say that she's a year older. Okay. I think you lost me, but I understand. So she's one of the first? I think she is, yes. Yes. May says, I never thought of it like that, but online I just saw something about Omega technically being Jango's daughter. Yeah, obviously. He's just like Boba Fett is Jango's son, she's Jango's daughter just as much. So I wonder what happens if she finds out that her dad's head got chopped off on Geonosis. I mean, Boba was there for it, but yeah. Tony says, oh, you did a good job with your accounting for years. Your pal Joe says, what's good? I'm back. Nice. Fearless says, and Nala Se knows all this, of course. Yeah, Nala Se was involved in all of it, and that's why her involvement in Season 3 is going to be all that much more important. She created Omega and the Bad Batch on purpose, for a reason, and now she's cloning for the Empire. You have to remember, Dr. Pershing in The Mandalorian mentions how his research is just purely a continuation of what the Kaminoans were doing. What we didn't know was that what the Kaminoans were doing was creating Omega, creating Clone Force 99, doing whatever she's going to do in this 3rd season. Aaron, what's up? So I think this third season is really going to connect to Dr. Pershing in that second season of The Mandalorian, and in the third season, I guess, too, and to Moff Gideon and his cloned Force sensitives, and of course to the sequel trilogy as well. If Omega is Force sensitive, it'll probably be Vader or an Inquisitor that kills her. Ooh, that would be cool too, because the Inquisitors and Vader are supposed to be hunting down the Jedi. Now, although Omega is not a Jedi, she is Force sensitive. So maybe Vader will slice her down. That'd be cool. I hope we see Boba Fett in this season. I do too, Joe. It would just be something cool to see. Getting to see him and his brothers and Omega together would be awesome. Especially that Cad Bane is in this third season. It would make sense to see Boba, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Is it bedtime yet? Mace Cameron says, maybe Ventress helps her find the Force within her. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying with that video about a possible next animated show. It's possible that the next show could follow Omega and Ventress as Ventress is training Omega to be a Force user. That'd be crazy. Is it nap time? I'm ready for a nap. I don't remember the last time I've napped, honestly. But yeah. John Groom says, might be wrong about the M count in the Bad Batch. M count has been said about Grogu though. Yeah, in the Mandalorian for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Omega is the last of Phase 1 clones, I think. Rex is a Phase 1 clone. Remember when Omega met Rex for the first time in Sid's cafe? She mentioned that Rex was a first series. Yeah, she did. Yeah. Pal Joe says, imagine Boba meeting Omega and telling her the story how Jango dies, and we got a flashback of Geonosis and animation. Oh, that would be crazy. That would be amazing. Getting the Battle of Geonosis in animation would be wild. Yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome. Fearless says, no, it's all connected because we know that what Palpatine wants, and Snoke was probably one of the first successes, more or less. I actually think Snoke is going to be one of the last successes because he doesn't really come in until after The Mandalorian. So he doesn't really become Snoke for a long, long time. He does take over, and he's the supreme leader of the First Order, but that's not until at least after The Mandalorian. So he's not going to be one of the first successes because Omega's already success. You see Moff Gideon's successful clones. So I think Snoke will be probably the best success because he's this massive giant who has the ability to use Force lightning and all this stuff. But I don't think he was the first, you know? Chris says, Eye of the Tiger from the classic 60s Rocky movie. What? Oh, classic sixth Rocky movie. I heard that Rocky, as Sylvester Stallone, said that he might return for Creed 4. I don't know how I feel about that. I haven't watched any of the Creed movies except for the first one, but doesn't he die in those movies? I don't know. But maybe. I'm not up to date on that. Ian says, when Boba lifts his dad's helmet, I was always worried that Jango's head was still inside of it and it just fell out. That would be horrible. But yeah, that is, like, now that I think about that, because I watched that like when I was a kid and I was like, oh, cool, he's got his head chopped off. But that's like, to Boba Fett, that is scarring, to say the least. Picking up your dad's dead head that's detached from his body and then taking the armor off of said dead body with his head off and putting the armor on you and then spray painting it green and going around being a bounty hunter, that must be some traumatizing stuff right there. Yeah, to say the least. Yeah. Oh yeah, Moff Gideon must have pushed that off my mind. Yeah, Moff Gideon was something special. Moff Gideon was such a good bad guy. The only problem was in season 3, they waited till the last 2 episodes to bring him back. Like he should have been in the entire season. Skywalker Academy says, Sid still has to give Omega that armor that is hanging on her wall if she survives the Bad Batch season 3. I think, yeah, if Omega survives this 3rd season, I would love to see the final scene of the season after all her brothers died because of what Sid did. I'd love for Omega to go to Sid's office and kill Sid, like cold-blooded, like like Han shot first type thing. Like she just comes into the office, sits down, and then just shoots her, like Han and Greedo, and then just takes the helmet off and puts it on her off the wall and puts it on her head, and then it's like how the Mandalorian season 2 ended with the Book of Boba Fett coming soon or whatever. It says the next animated show and it says coming soon. That would be insane. Imagine that. All her brothers die. Hunter's gone. Wrecker's gone. Tech's gone. Crosshair's gone. Echo's gone. And it's all because of Sid. Pretty much all because of Sid. Because she turned them over. And Omega knows this. So she goes directly to her cafe or her whatever. And she sits down and says, in like cold-blooded Han Solo style, kills Sid, and then takes the helmet off the wall and puts it on. Imagine how cool that would be. Imagine. How sick would that be? That would be amazing. That would be so cool. What's up, Ellie? How we doing? That would be so cool. Yeah. Well, this took a dark turn quick. Yes, it did, Mace. John Groove says, do you think that Sid will be in season 3? And will we get a redemption arc or full-on villain? Well, I just said how I hope she's in it. I hope she's not redeemed, sorry, because it's her fault that they're in all this mess, and she shouldn't be redeemed. She's a villain, and I'd love to see her just die. How I said it. That'd be awesome. Skywalker Academy says, that's what the Mandalorians did. They used their armors for generations. That's true, but like peeling the armor off your dead dad's body must be pretty tough to do. Ellie says, hi, I just got 90% of my hair chopped off and I have a long bob now. I really like it. That sounds awesome, but I have no idea what a long bob is. Should we look it up? Let's look it up. Long bob haircut. Long bob. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's pretty cool. That's pretty damn cool. Stylish. That sounds stylish. That's what that is. Skywalker Academy says, oh yeah, we also got to see a shadow of the head flying off in a different direction in the movie. That's true. Yes, the head wasn't in the helmet anymore. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah. How long was your hair before? Well, if she got 90% of it chopped off, it must have been to the floor. That's awesome. A long bob is Mike with his arms and legs cut off in water? What the hell? That's horrible. That's bad. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any other Star Wars news that we had to get to today? Star Wars news. We got some old, High Republic stuff. Nice, Maggie. High Republic stuff. We got Avar, Chris, and Elzar Mann with the Temptation of the Force. We got some stuff going on there. We talked about Ian McDermott and how he defended the Rise of Skywalker because Palpatine always had a plan B. Okay. We got from Star Wars themselves. All right, let's read this. This is coming from StarWars.com themselves. Hang on, let's read what Chris said first. Chris says, guess what I do when I always... Wait. Guess what I do when I always... Oh, and it's gone. Okay, hang on. Guess what I do when I always go up at the gym and lift up 100 weights every 1 to 2 weeks in my state? I always put the Eye of the Tiger music on from Rocky at the gym also. That's pretty cool. Yeah. John Groom says, have you ever seen the edited version where Mace cuts his legs and chops off his arms before he cuts his head off? No. That's horrible. Django's master was called Jaster. Jaster? Yeah, Jaster Muriel. Is that who you're talking about? Is that who you're talking about? All right, let's read this. This is coming from StarWars.com. This is the executive producer of The Bad Batch, and we're talking more Bad Batch. We're talking Bad Batch, yeah, because it's in 6 days. All right. It's official. Athena Portillo loves tech as much as the rest of us. The vice president of animation production for Lucasfilm and executive producer of The Bad Batch, has a special affinity for the elite clone we first met in the final season of the Clone Wars. It's no surprise, given the more than a decade she's spent overseeing the more technical aspects of animation production. Tech will always be my favorite character, Portillo, sure, tells StarWars.com. I love everything about him, his wit, his directness, and his intelligence, his honesty, his logic in making the ultimate sacrifice for his brothers and Omega. The moment in Season 2 finale, appropriately titled Plan 99, was a heartbreaking but something the creative team felt would be an important and purposeful way to continue evolving the story arc of the surviving members, including Hunter, Wrecker, Omega, and Crosshair. It was not something that gets decided upon overnight, she says. A lot of discussion that also involved character development and the story build-up in the point where the action/sacrifice, in this case, needs to make sense to have a purpose and not just be executed for shock value. Shocking, yes, but also emotionally impactful. So, talking about Tech's death, it was very important to the characters of Hunter, Wrecker, Omega, and Crosshair. We couldn't just kill off a character because we wanted to kill off a character. It had to do something important. Yes. By the end of the episode, Omega has given herself up to the Empire to save her other brothers that are still alive. Another noble sacrifice that left her imprisoned on Mount Tantus, and in a surprise twist, in the company of another mysterious family member, her sister, Emery Carr. With the premiere of the final season of The Bad Batch just days away, 6 days to be exact, we sat down with Portillo to talk about her history with Lucasfilm's animation and conducting a symphony of sorts in the production pipeline. The pulse of production. Long before Portillo, whatever, was overseeing production of any animated series, she worked as an intern in Lucasfilm's licensing division. Portillo eventually landed a job as a line producer on Star Wars The Clone Wars, officially joining Lucasfilm Animation in 2006, and worked closely alongside a mentor who would help shape the course of her career, Dave Filoni. That name sound familiar to you guys? Does that name sound familiar? I had the privilege to collaborate with Dave Filoni on Star Wars The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Resistance, Star Wars Bad Batch, and Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. Soon after they met, Filoni quickly recognized something in Portillo's work and demeanor that suggested that she would one day be a leader. Just 6 months into her stint with the animation division, Filoni asked her to move to Singapore to oversee the Clone Wars team there and complete her first year. I am honored that he saw something in my work ethic and what I bring to the table to believe that I could oversee the Lucasfilm animation team in San Francisco, she says now. He is my mentor. He challenges me constantly, which I thrive on, appreciate, and need. Like a big brother, he expects me to never settle, never become comfortable, but to keep pushing, be solution-driven, research all possible options, and even aim for the impossible in certain instances. As one of the executive producers on The Bad Batch, Portillo describes herself as the conductor of a team of creatives, leading the charge in what is necessary to achieve specific production goals to keep the show on track. A conductor stresses the musical pulse. Yes, stresses the musical pulse that all the performance could follow the same metric rhythm. She says, "My job is to visualize the bigger picture, production-wise, provide direction through each artery of the division." Yes, I was right with that. Get us all on the same page and in tune with what requires to meet deadlines and stay within the budget. Once the full animation orchestra is in tune, on the same wavelength, and clear on their goals, I move into the manager role because I trust my team to execute beautifully. Mentored by Filoni, of course. Among the visionaries that brought the Bad Batch to life are Star Wars creators George Lucas, nice, executive producer Dave Filoni, supervising director and executive producer Brad, who we just listened to talk for a little while, and head writer Jennifer, who we also just listened to talk for a little while. This, I think, just goes over the backstory here. Here, we'll just read this. And although she mums on what she can say going into the third season, of course, will the Bad Batch reunite? Who's the clone with the evil laugh in the trailer? What? Hang on. What about the return of Ventress? She's a firm believer on finding solutions behind the scenes to support whatever story the team is passionate about telling. I've always believed in never saying no to creative/production request, she says, but instead look into all avenues and options to either execute the original request or find alternate solutions. What is this evil laugh they're talking about here? Does anybody know what this is? Evil laugh? Maggie says, who's Dave? Is that a serious question? Dave Filoni is the GOAT. He's the guy who created, alongside of George Lucas, he created the Clone Wars, he created Star Wars Rebels, he created Tales of the Jedi, he co-created The Mandalorian, he created Ahsoka, the character of Ahsoka. He is the apprentice of the creator, George Lucas himself. Yeah. Don't worry about it, Ellie. I appreciate you tuning in. But who is this evil laugh? Do you guys remember this? Should we rewatch the trailer now? I feel like we have to rewatch the trailer and look for an evil laugh. Let's do it.
Hold on! We've got troopers up top. We're running out of road!
Not exactly a stealth exit, boys.
Let's move!
No evil laugh yet.
I thought that the end of the war would mean an end to losing more of our brothers. But I was wrong. We can't just walk away. Not with the Empire imprisoning the kid. Secure her in a cell. Omega's been waiting for us a long time. Our mission is not over yet.
This trailer never gets old.
There is nothing of greater importance to secure the future of this empire. Whatever is needed to accomplish this goal, you will have it.
They are coming. For all of you.
Give us a real challenge. Everyone, down!
We're not big on following orders.
I wasn't planning on killing you, but you're making it very tempting.
I didn't catch any evil laughs in there, but that trailer never gets old. Palpatine saying that whatever they're doing there on Mount Tantus is the most important thing to securing the future of the Empire, that alone is just enough to really tell us that something extremely important is going on here. For sure. Yeah. Oh, you're all just messing with me. I get you. I get you. Ellie says, the Bad Batch actually isn't the thing that I'm most excited about. It's actually the Chosen season 4, episodes 4 through 6 in theaters. I'm going to see it on Saturday. I'm so hyped. That's awesome. I don't know what that is still, but that's cool. Yeah. I appreciate that, Tony. I do. Tony says, that's why I enjoy Mike's channel. He does all the work to find the stories that give us a better understanding and enjoyment of these Star Wars shows. Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I live stream for 2 hours every 2 days, 3 times a week at least, 6 hours a week, is to talk Star Wars with you guys. That's why I'm here. That's literally that's.
This is where the fun begins.
That's where the fun begins. Is just doing this. So yeah. So Joe says Andor season 2 finished filming today. I can't freaking wait. Yeah. So Diego Luna a couple days ago said he was done filming. So yeah, 100%. All right, let's end this poll. See what you guys thought. Is Omega going to die in this 3rd season? The math is not mathing, but 70% of you say no to 29% saying yes, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And all we have to do is wait 6 more days. That's it. 6 more days. That is pretty awesome. The Bad Batch is right around the corner. We got a lot today. Possibly Omega dying, possibly not. The actor Michelle Ang talking herself. We got to listen to the head writer and producer of the show, Jennifer and Brad, talk about Omega being force sensitive. We got possibly some Omega and Asajj Ventress scenes, and maybe even some more Asajj Ventress after the Bad Batch season 3 as well. That's gonna be pretty damn cool. No, the math is not mathing. We can't just round up like that, Skywalker Academy. That's not how it works around here. Yeah. Tony says, I'm glad Mike doesn't require a test at the end of the show to make sure we're all listening. Should I start doing that? I would lose all my viewers. So, I want to make this absolutely fun, not just make it feel like a test. I just realized that Andor was filming pretty near to me. Wow, that's pretty cool. You should go get some set photos and send them to me. John Groove says, I got my day off of work, so I may well join that watch party. Nice. Yeah, so the watch party will be on hopefully Tuesday next week. Hopefully they do the Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of the Wednesdays at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we'll have to wait and see until they announce that, hopefully over this weekend. Yeah. Fearless says, I still don't think that Omega dies, but she can't be free. I'd love to see that final scene of her going, after all of her brothers died, going to Sid's cafe or bar or whatever, and killing her, cold-blooded, and then stealing that helmet and becoming a Mandalorian badass. How cool would that be? That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I will try to be at the watch parties. Well, I'll try to wait for you. I appreciate it, Mace. I'm going to get on out of here. You guys the absolute best. A little bit shorter stream today, but I got places to be tonight. So I appreciate all you guys so much. Watch out for a video hopefully tomorrow if I can get it out by then, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, you guys the absolute best. I appreciate all of you so much. Smash a like on this video if you have not. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. And may the force be with you. Always. Me too, Chris. Me too. I'm excited for those watch parties. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate all you guys way more than you'll ever know. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody. You guys still here? You guys still here? Are you guys still? Are you still here? Is anybody there? Hello? Hello?
Hello there.
Good night, everybody. Let's just keep it going. Let's just keep it going. Should we just keep it going? Let's just keep it going. Should we keep it going? No, we gotta go. No, we should just keep it going. Let's just keep it going. Should we keep it going? I think we gotta go. I think it's time to go. Okay. Should we keep it going?
Incorrect.
Good night, everybody. This is the strangest ending to a stream ever. What a great stream. What a great show. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody, for real this time.